This game's Century Age of Ashes dropped on PC the other day. It's free to play and you ride dragons into combat. Now that sounds bloody awesome, so let's dive in and see. Essentially, this is a team-based aerial combat shooter, but instead of being in space or just the sky, you're around castles or cavernous landscapes, and instead of planes, it's dragons. But not only that, they do actually feel like dragons. They're like tight controls, but they're still a bloody beast to move around. But there's a maneuverability to this game that I haven't seen in any other aerial combat games. I'm not left scrabbling around, turning upside down thinking, where do I go, where do I shoot? Now this is also a multiplayer only game, so it's a hard genre to crack and actually to hold the audience afterwards. This is just on PC for the moment, and eventually a move to console will help this. There's quite a few game modes and an incredible amount of polish, especially given that it's free to play, and from this point you're only thinking that's going to improve further. So when you turn on the game, you're greeted with a tutorial, which actually is really quite required. It teaches you all the moves, and then puts you in with others on 3v3 matches. You do this until level 5. At that point, you're opened up to 6v6 matches in unranked mode. There are 3 unlockable modes within that before you move on to ranked at level 10. The 3 main modes are Spores of War, Carnage, and Gates of Fire. These kind of are different plays on what you normally see in kind of first-person shooters. So Spores of War, you're collecting coins and you're hoarding them. Dragons hoard coins. Carnage is like Slayer in Halo, something like that. And Gates of Fire is kind of like capture the flag. So you capture a flag, you're trying to get it through, I think it's 8 or 9 gates. When you've got it through, you win the round, and it's best of 5 rounds. What's great about this is that in unranked, you can toggle these on and off to play the game that you actually want to play. Some shooters and other types of game like this just don't allow that. So in the unranked you can do that, in the ranked you can't. Let's move on to classes. There are 3 main classes in the game, and when you're playing, people use all 3, so that does suggest a good balance. There's the healing class, the WINDGUARD, the Phantom, more of an elusive but powerful class where you can turn invisible, and the Marauder, which is very combat heavy and lots of power moves. Each class plays very differently. They've all got individual skills. The shop appears to indicate that there are more classes coming soon as well. Cosmetics and customizable dragon looks are kind of the primary long-term hook. There's a cool feature of acquiring dragon eggs and doing tasks in the game to hatch them and make them grow to full dragons. Ultimately, this just means that your dragons have a different skin within the different classes. In the game, there's not much to notice from them, but the top 3 in each team are showcased at the end of each win, so if you're in that top 3, you can get some kind of kudos for having a cool looking dragon. It's probably a good point to note now that the monetization and microtransactions isn't forced down your throat at all. There seems to be enough ways to earn in-game currency to do a lot of cool stuff with, so obviously there is the option to buy certain things, but at the moment, for the casual player, doesn't seem overwhelming. So let's talk about gameplay, and as I said, tight controls. This is really good and incredibly fun. I mean, whirling through the air, going across the ground to kind of pick up some energy sources, and then flying through to shoot someone, to shoot at someone, to kill someone, to burst them with fire. I mean, it's a thrill. Like it's such a good game. To be honest, as multiplayer-only games go, this feels better than a lot of first-person shooters. This feels like there's an incredible amount of variety to do. There's a lot to kind of get your teeth into, the reasons to level up. It seems to have it all at the moment. And then we come to the graphics. When we saw trailers for this game, it looked unreal. It looked simply awesome. The benefit to this game at the moment is you're playing on PC, so if you do have a high-end PC, and I'm lucky enough to have a pretty good one, you can play on fairly decent settings, and it looks insane. I'd love to see this go to console, I'd love to see how it looks on the consoles, but at the moment, if you have a top-end PC, you're in for a damn treat. Now, are there any downsides? Firstly, this game is only currently on PC, but the developers have said that it's going to come to console in 2022. Not only that, it's also going to come to mobile. How how it's going to look on mobile and how it's going to run on mobile, I have no idea. But it's coming to mobile. Secondly, the name. The name of this game is it's Century Age of Ashes. I can't remember it. Like, it's not, in itself, the name isn't bad. Whenever I'm telling somebody about this game, I can't remember the name. I get the name wrong. Now, that could just be me, or it could just be that the name isn't really memorable. It's weird. This game is so good. You want as many people as possible to know about this game, experience this game, and when it comes to console, free to play, absolutely smash it. Since E3, whenever I've tried to remember this game, I've just typed in Dragon Game into Google. But that's it. That's all I've got in terms of negatives. It's quite incredible. It's a multiplayer only game. That's the thing. We've got our Game of the Year podcast coming up soon, and I can't put it in there because it's multiplayer only, and for me, who knows how that's going to seem after 25, 30, 35 hours. Are you going to come back to this game? I don't know. And only time will tell whether this game will do really well and has that longevity. At the moment, what I will say is that it seems varied enough, the gameplay is solid, and it's really, really fun. As they work on this game, new game modes, new maps, new classes, this will only improve. You know, at the state it's in right now, free to play, it's excellent. Add yourself some new modes and new maps, and I think you've got yourself a must-play hit. And I've only been playing on my own. Get my friends involved, and this will be an absolute banger. As always, if this review has helped you, please like the video and subscribe, it really helps. We also have a weekly podcast called Grumpy Gamers, which comes out every Wednesday wherever you download your podcasts. But until next time, it's GG.